Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hi, so I know everybody's looking for the 2025 QB draft class, but I'm just going to save the time, energy on your research on these QBs. Don't do it. From draft analysts, they said this class is not very good. They prefer that if you're looking for a QB that you wait till 2026. So if that's the case, we need to run back with Watson, but this time with Kevin Stefanski's offense fully implemented because Ken Dorsey's offense and his ideas for his offense is not working. So yeah, that's all I called to tell you guys about. So I will be looking forward to the 2026 QB draft class. So Deshaun Watson can then be a third player for the next franchise QB and we can get out of this contract. Thank you.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Fred, I don't see that they're going to play Watson again. I could be wrong. But I also don't think just because you need a quarterback that you draft one. That's where you get in trouble. See the 30 some odd names on the Browns jersey that's going to be added to. This quarterback class isn't great, but next one, if you don't have one of the top 2 or 3 picks, you're not getting the quarterback that everybody's talking about in the class anyway.
Yeah, the Browns' strategy in 16-17 basically was to tank, and they had back-to-back number 1 picks, and Myles Garrett came out of that, Nick Chubb, and David Njoku, and Baker Mayfield, Denzel Ward. But there's no guarantee, that there's a guy there, and just because that you're going to pick the right one. There was 4 supposedly top quarterbacks when they took Mayfield. We all know that it should have been either Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. You could argue that Lamar Jackson was the best one. So, yeah, you don't force it, because I talked to Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network. He's the color analyst for the Chargers before that game, and he said he hadn't done a deep dive, but his initial talk or thoughts on the quarterback class were similar to the caller, that there wasn't anybody that just stood out as being the guy. You want to have the top pick when there's the guy, Joe Burrow, or you know, Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning, guys like that are going to step in day one and be able to command, and turn a team around. Everything else, if you take just because you take the best quarterback in the class doesn't mean that he is the best quarterback every year. He might be the best in 2024, but he might be a second round prospect. And just because there was nobody else there, or an end of the first round. So, there is luck involved in the thing, and I don't know if you can calculate it. It's develop them, and so many thought Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he got paid, and now you look. There's just a gamble. There's just a reason. There's 39 names on the Browns quarterback list since the team returned. And it also shows you why the Browns were so desperate to do what they did to get Deshaun Watson, thinking they had solved that problem, at least on the field. And I don't know if you bring him back. Andrew Berry had a chance last week and didn't really have a ringing endorsement. He said, I'm not going to get into anything until he's healthy. And so, that's a good way to get out of that question. Could have said, oh, when he's healthy, he's our quarterback. That's what they said last year. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions to be made. I think your better bet, and I don't know if there's a guy out there, somebody you could bring in and maybe pivot that you can win with now. I think if you feel you have a decent roster, and I think that's true, you got good players on this team that you can win with. All you have to look, and even Deshaun Watson, as bad as he played in those first 6 games, if he would have just had 1 or 2 plays, or a penalty wasn't called to call back a touchdown, they would have won 2 or 3 other games. And you're right, you're now 4-5 or 5-4. And I don't think it would be such doom and gloom. So I think if a Kirk Cousins is an option, a guy with a big contract, the Falcons might want to move on from with their number 1 pick, Penix there. Or if there's somebody else out there that could step in for a year or 2 while you keep searching for that answer. But I just hate to go all in and say you got to draft one. Look at the quarterbacks, even the top ones. Caleb Williams is struggling. Bryce Young, there's no guarantee you're going to get the guy. If everybody thought Jaden Williams was the guy, the Bears would have took him at one. If everybody thought CJ Stroud was the guy, the Panthers would have took him at one, not Bryce Young. So there's a lot that goes into it. I just think the better way to go is to try to win next year and try to take what you have, fortify what you have, and then make the decision. Is Jameis Winston? Can you find out in 8 games? Could he be the guy? Could DTR be the guy? Or, you know, Watson? Or can you find somebody from another team, that could step right in immediately with this roster and win?